Is President Biden's new order at the border working? The White House says yes. Border Patrol agents apprehended just over 84,000 migrants crossing the southern border last month. That is the lowest monthly total since Biden took office in 2021. However, there are likely several reasons for this. Mexico has been stepping up law enforcement efforts to stop migrants from making the trek north. The summer heat, that's a big factor, slowing the flow of migrants. And some immigration officials predict it's just a matter of time before the numbers go back up. Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland is with us now from Terrell County, Texas, a 26-year veteran of the U.S. Border Patrol. Fair to say there are likely a number of factors contributing to lower numbers, but might some of it also be due to the president's border action and executive order? Credit where credit's due?
Hey, good morning, Marni. It's good to be back on your show. I won't give any credit to this administration, nor, the policies or the executive orders. And the reason I say that is, look, what they're looking to do along our border is bring people in, misuse the asylum process to bring people across the border. Border security and immigration are two separate issues. Border security is about keeping bad people and bad things out of the United States. And we've clearly seen with these most recent events across the U.S., murders, rapes, things of that nature, just heinous things that are going on. But you also have to look back at what the administration's done to the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, continued to fight him on everything he's doing at the border. And I can tell you, you can see the differences. Governor Abbott's trying to secure the border. This administration, again, is trying to misuse the asylum process to bring people in.
Tell me what you believe the governor is doing that is effective right now at the border that you're not seeing with the federal government.
And I can speak to that firsthand. First of all, being a Border Patrol agent and seeing what Governor Abbott did before I retired with the additional troops in our immediate border area, DPS troopers, Texas Parks and Wildlife game wardens, and then Texas military forces here in my county. And then once I took over as sheriff, the same thing. We continue to have those resources here, and not only just resources of boots on the ground, but also financial resources. Look, we've had 37 people die in the last 3 years in my county, where historically it was one a year. That's a tremendous cost on our county, recovering those deceased. If we have to order an autopsy, things of that nature, as well as just pulling law enforcement, as well as emergency medical services away from our community to tend to those. But again, not just here in Terrell County, but across the border, using those law enforcement agencies under Operation Lone Star I spoke of. He's built over 40 miles of border wall. They're using technology unlike ever before along the border. So just a tremendous amount of help.
I know you're critical of the president and his action at the border. Is there anything he could do that would ease some of your concerns and satisfy your worries at the southern border?
Most definitely, Marni. And I have to start this answer with, look, I worked under 5 administrations, presidential administrations along the border, 2 Democrat, 2 Republican, and then this current administration. And those prior 4 all furthered border security. They all added infrastructure, technology, and most importantly, manpower. But right now, what this administration has done and President Biden is they dismantled border security. And the way they did that was by, when we started seeing those asylum seekers, President Trump had in place the Migrant Protection Protocol, MPP, remain in Mexico. That worked for the asylum seekers. People are going to continue to come unless there is something that is that's going to make them deter them from coming. And that is what the MPP did. It deterred people from coming. That's first and foremost what he could do to begin getting the border back in order.
So as I'm hearing you, Sheriff, this isn't political in your mind, right? I think people will hear what you're saying and think, well, you don't like Biden and that's why you're saying this, but it's more than that.
And Marni, you're right. Again, I can't stress enough. I worked under President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, and President Trump. They all furthered border security. They all built wall, and wall's not the end all, but they all contributed to a more safe and secure border. And look, as a sheriff and elected sheriff, I'm here to represent everybody. I don't care if you're red or blue, Democrat or Republican. My job is to protect people, and I could care less. Even if you're from another country, when I encounter illegal aliens, my job is to make sure first and foremost they're okay, because we encounter lots that are injured, sick, near death. So I don't care where you're from or who you are. I'm going to help you. But right now, even this administration, I articulated how we've seen 37 deaths in the last 3 years, such an increase. The practices and the policies by this administration are not just killing people, but also putting people at risk.
I appreciate you addressing that. Let's talk about the criminal element for a minute. We've got this little girl who was murdered allegedly by 2 illegal immigrants in your state. We've had a number of other crimes that have been linked to illegal immigrants who have gone through the system, been released, and then monitored, asked to appear in court. What's the best approach at intervention to prevent these types of crimes from people who are known criminals coming across that border?
First of all, and it's unfortunate, we're going to continue to see more of this as the years come, much more of this. And when we look at, historically, the people we interact with, primarily, and I'm talking about primarily the old Border Patrol mission is, primarily it's the U.S.-Mexico border. Of course, now it's the U.S. world border because so many people are crossing. But we have our own criminal system database in place. And as a Border Patrol agent now, as a sheriff, when we catch people, again, primarily from Mexico, they're going to have records checks because a lot of them have spent time here before. But when we're receiving those people from other countries that don't have databases, they've never been in the United States before, we don't know who they are. That they are not properly vetted. The Secretary of DHS, Mayorkas, will say they are properly vetted. The reason he says that is because, again, we're bouncing them off our databases. If they've never been here and we don't have a link to their database in another country, we're not going to know that. So we're going to continue to see these crimes happen.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Sheriff Cleveland, as always, appreciate your time coming on. I hope you enjoy a safe 4th of July.
Thank you, Marni. God bless you. Adios.
You too.